Slick and Shiny Productions once more gives you a look at the nature reserve at St. Vincent. See things we didn't see before. I always like views to give the context. This is Lake Trobe up here. Lawson Heights here. This is Route 30 going by. This is 981. Right in this corner. Up here is St. Vincent itself. And down here is the nature reserve. And in this corner, there's the remains of a, what was a coal patch town, St. Vincent Shaft, which I might mention had nothing to do with St. Vincent. It just took the name, but it was not owned by St. Vincent. This is that coal patch that was, it serviced the mine. The miners lived there, and some people still do live there. I put color on the mapping just to give it a indication of extent. Most of the area of the what we call the nature reserve is down here, although it does extend up this way also. And within the confines of the nature reserve, there's a barn that was brought in there. There's the old Lockery Blockhouse, which has been there since the 1700s. That's the barn I was telling you about. It was in the ownership of the Smith family till about 1919 when St. Vincent bought it. And that's the old blockhouse. Colonel Archibald Lockery had that to supply the frontier troops that were trying to protect the region from the incursions of Native Americans that were stirred up by the British at the time of the Revolution. This shows the nature reserve. Nice areas. If you're looking for a place to get out and go for a walk, this is a place. So groups also come here. A bunch of kids enjoying it. Shows water around there. Here's one of those trails through the woods where you can see the various things that grow when nature is allowed to do its thing unimpeded. This one is called Thicket Trail, in an area where the growth is what you might call a bit thicker. This is the barn in the background. You can see these areas are just being allowed to grow up. And you can see a device over here. They were just in the process of putting things together. The nature reserve is not all that old. I think it opened around 2007. And there's another shot of the barn in wintertime. Wintertime always gives a really great opportunity to see the landscape, the various features of landscape. And as the reserve was getting put together, they brought some goats in. Goats are very good at munching out some of the stuff that is not desirable, like poison ivy, and their digestive system isn't bothered by that. Here we are, we're opening up an area that will be serviceable for some water. It's not just above ground stuff, there's aquatic material there too. This gives the impression of the proximity to St. Vincent up on the hill. This is the nature reserve down here. This mapping takes us the whole way back to 1903. And what this shows is there's the Unity Branch Railroad has been put down in here, allowing some of the old coal towns like Whitney and Hostetter and all those places down the line. By '03, the St. Vincent Shaft was not in yet. That didn't happen until the time of the First World War, but it grew up right in here. This is 1939. This is the coal patch, and the mine was up here. We'll come in a little bit closer on that. This is the coal patch. Here's the mine. What I'll try to do is get a bit of emphasis by the circle. There's a big dump, mine slag, that was brought out of the mine. These are the buildings of the actual mine itself, and the next shot will show on the ground looking across. That was the head frame right over top of a 244-foot shaft looking toward Chestnut Ridge. Now the next thing will be inside this building. In the 1960s, I realized that they were tearing the place down, and so I went down on a Saturday and did a sketch of the hoist. This would drive the cars up and down in the thing in the head frame. Head frame again. This is the building before they took it off. That's the one that contains the hoist. And these are the pulleys which directed the cables coming from the hoist to the individual cages that went down in the shaft. What you see here is part of that big ugly slag pile, which fortunately has gone. I've done these videos of a good number of mines around the county, Westmoreland County. And what always impresses me is how after 50, 60, 70 years, nature moves in and cleans up the messes that were created by these mines. This is the area what we're talking about right over here, very close to what was once a ugly mine. This is the nature reserve over here, and over here was St. Vincent Shaft, which has fortunately been cleaned up. And we will just get another parting shot. This is where we were, right in this area down here. There's the remaining houses from St. Vincent Shaft, the miners' houses, and this is St. Vincent up on the hill. And Porky tells us that it's time to go. So, thanks for coming along on our trip, and so long.